Okay, we open this episode on a somber note. As I'm sure most of our listeners are aware, the rock world suffered a huge loss this past weekend with the passing of Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins. The band was in Colombia when Taylor was tragically found dead in his hotel room at just 50 years old. But we're not here to talk about the details behind his death, but instead to remember a rock and roll legend who will be deeply missed. The Foo Fighters are a massive band that have been a staple in the music scene for much of our lifetime. Seeing the Foo Fighters family have to go through this has just been horrible. The news was a gut punch to everyone, from our own experiences with the band to the countless artists who have shared their own heartwarming stories about Taylor. It's just been heartbreaking to see another icon called up to that great gig in the sky.
So I've been thinking about what I want to say about this all weekend, and it's still really hard to express, how much this one stings. The Foo Fighters are honestly the first band I ever loved, and they're a band I'll always love. I've been listening to them since the day I first heard Learn to Fly in my tiny boombox in my room when I was just 9 years old. But my admiration for the band only grew from there as I discovered Color and Shape and further got into their music. But what's long been one of my favorite parts of the Foo Fighters has always been Taylor Hawkins. Ever since I was a kid, I've always been drawn to drums, and I always wished I was like a rock drummer. In reality, I'm way too spastic to actually be one. That's a different story for another day. But my love for drums all started when I heard Learn to Fly the same day. And the drums under each verse of that song, while they're nothing crazy, they quickly won me over, and I've been obsessed with the band ever since. And I think the best way to kind of express how special Hawkins was, I saw in a tweet on Twitter on Friday night that said Taylor was such a great drummer that he made you forget how good of a drummer Dave Grohl was. And that really stuck with me. Because like while Dave Grohl is the brains behind Foo Fighters, I think all Foo Fighter fans know that Taylor was the heart. And that's why this is such a crushing loss for fans and for the band. He played drums with so much joy. He would occasionally sing and be the frontman of the band when they would play covers at concerts. And he was basically a walking example of the love and happiness that this band brings to people. I'm grateful I got to see them live multiple times and got to hear what a force he was behind the drums in person. And this whole weekend, I've been texting my buddy Jake because like we're both just really devastated by this loss. And he made a really good point that while like we're really upset about Taylor, this could also be possibly the end of Foo Fighters as we know it. He sent me a Dave Grohl quote that he did previously in an interview with Howard Stern, where he talked about how him and Chris Novoselic of Nirvana originally tried to make music themselves after Kurt passed, and in the end, it was just too painful. And now, like, they'll never put those demos out, and they're never going to play again because it just reminds them too much of him. And this could be like a similar situation here, because before there was Taylor, Grohl was kind of, I guess strongman's the best way to put it, but like he couldn't help but step behind the drum kit for Foo Fighter albums. Like when they were making Color and Shape, they had this drummer, William Goldsmith, and Grohl wasn't happy with like Goldsmith's drum parts on the new album. So he went in and re-recorded all the drum parts himself. That of course pissed off Goldsmith, and then he left the band. And that's when Grohl called up Taylor. Taylor joins the band, and that issue just never happens again because Taylor's that great. And they were essentially just best friends. And I honestly just even think about like I don't know how Foo Fighters can go forward without their heart. Jake made a really good point that like Taylor Hawkins has a 16-year-old son who was already a beast on drums. So we're thinking maybe that's the best case of the band continuing. But I don't know. It's kind of, I think everyone's just trying to digest this right now before we get too deep into what the future holds for Foo Fighters. But Nick, how are you feeling though? Like, do you think this could be end of the road for Foo? And then what are your overall thoughts on Taylor Hawkins as well?
Uh, I haven't, obviously I thought about it a little. I haven't thought much past the short term right now. Not to make it about me, but I was supposed to see them in May. So I wasn't sure, Um, as we know now, they've canceled all their tour dates, which is totally understandable. But I never knew it like Dave Grohl's attitude, if he'd be like the show must go on kind of guy. So part of me thought maybe they would keep going, but in hindsight, like there's no way they could be doing shows right now. Like that would be ludicrous. It's just doesn't make sense. So like, yeah, short term, I totally get them stopping. Long term, I don't know, you know. Everything you said makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, I don't see Dave Grohl as the kind of guy to step away from music. What that means for the Foo Fighters could be two entirely different things, as we've seen in the past, and that's what's so crazy about this whole thing is like poor Dave, man. Like he's already done this before, and it's just like it's heartbreaking.
Lost his
I
two best friends.
Yeah, like I feel so bad for everyone involved. It really sucks. Like when you texted me, was it Friday night? Um, well, wasn't expecting that at all. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen to Foo Fighters. I bet they don't know either right now. So yeah, we're just gonna have to see how it plays out and take it slow. Um, but yeah, Hawkins was a beast of a drummer. Like I was going back and watching live videos like this whole weekend, and the energy he brings to the kit is just awesome. And he's always like smiling, and he's got the long hair, and it's just thrashing around, and it's infectious like watching him play. And it's amazing because Dave Grohl is such like a performer in his own right. To have two guys with that level of charisma in the band is just unreal. Like I was thinking about when we saw them at City Field, and Dave was in his it was the Broken Leg tour, and he was in his drum
The
throne.
throne.
Yeah. And like the fact that he was still commanding the stage that well just sitting down was impressive enough. But then rewatching a lot of those videos, like just seeing Taylor back there just like going nuts.
Just never wearing a shirt either.
Yeah. Very rarely in a shirt. Um I watched his last performance was trending hard on YouTube, obviously. And they were at Lollapalooza in is it South America? I forget.
For which country it
Uh,
was though.
yeah, Argentina. And Dave's like asking the crowd if they want to see Taylor's shorts because just to get him to like come out from behind the kit. And then he performed "Somebody to Love" while Dave got on the drums, and he crushed it. Both of them crushed it. The whole band crushed it. But it was just they were just having so much fun, and that's what you love to see in a band.
And Taylor
So
loved Queen too. I remember
yeah,
like VH1 used to have like a rock honors show. And I remember like I think it was Foo Fighters that were honoring Queen. And I'm pretty sure he like handled most of the lead vocals at that show. Because
oh,
like
that's
that's a
sick.
band, that's a band he grew up loving. And to get to honor them in person while they're playing alongside you, like doesn't get better than that. And then they still play as you saw Somebody to Love live.
Yeah, yeah, that's great how they carry the influence, and they're like a huge stadium rock band, just like Queen. So like, there's a lot of parallels I'm sure you could draw. Uh, yeah, man, it sucks. It sucks so bad.
Just doesn't feel real.
Yeah, like they're not a band that you thought we'd be questioning what they're doing, like ever. They've always been such a band, like when because you always hear like some people out there like, oh, rock and roll's dead, there's no rock bands anymore, which is just like ridiculous thing to say, but people say it. And like Foo Fighters was always like the obvious go-to. Like, how can you say that when like the Foo Fighters are out here just doing their thing, just playing like fun rock songs, just like ripping chords and solos, and they jam live a little bit, and it's just they're just a good rock band.
The modern
Um,
day Kings of Rock.
yeah, yeah. I I really hope it's not the end of them. That would
I
be,
hope not either, but it might be the end of Foo Fighters, but they might pick up as something else,
yeah. I
like
mean,
what
he
he kind of
always
did with
said it was a
Nirvana
stupid name, so this is his chance to.
in a dark way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Uh, I don't know. I don't know what happens.
want to hear what he has to. I'm sure he'll speak like after eventually, but I'm really
Yeah,
curious what's going through his mind.
yeah, yeah. He hasn't. They just put out that statement Friday night.
Yeah, two
That's
statements,
yeah. That's oh yeah with
the
canceling the tours.
cancellation.
Yeah,
But it's just that this one almost feels like when Chester died from Linkin Park. It's like bands we grew up loving, and now we're starting to see. I mean, he was gone way too soon. Like
yeah.
there's no way you should be. That should be happening when you're 50.
No,
Even well,
not at
Chester
all.
was even younger. So I
Yeah,
mean, but it kind of goes just to make a broader point here at the end of this discussion. But I think if you have a chance to see a band and you're on the fence, just go. Don't hesitate because you never know what could happen. Like I never got to see Linkin Park live. I never got to see Soundgarden
yeah,
or Chris Cornell in person. And that's why like Pearl Jam's top of my list now. So I'm like, I gotta go see Eddie before God forbid something happens to him.
yeah.
But go see your favorite bands live because you never know like something like this could happen and you'll never get the chance again. So
All right, BRB buying Paul McCartney tickets.
that's another good example.
Yeah, if you want to spend $600 for nosebleeds, which you just might have talked me into, thanks a lot, Brett.
Oh, that's my fault. Sorry, Nicole.
You're absolutely right, though. One of my good friends he's a huge Foo Fighters fan, and he's just never went and saw them live. And this was the year he was going to
Oh
do it.
man, he had
And
the tickets too.
yeah,
Oh,
he's going to the Philly show. I've he's crushed. And he said exactly what you just said. He's like, there's no point in talking yourself out of things. Like if you want to see a band you love, just go do it.
go.
I was looking at this Welcome to Rockville festival that I'm going to, I mentioned before.
That's where
And
they were gonna play, right?
yeah, they were closing out the whole festival as they've done so many times with so many festivals. Um, so I was trying to think of who might replace them on the bill because the festival did announce that they're gonna bring another band in.
Is Green
Uh,
Day there already?
so they're on my list of possibilities. Um, I could see Chili Peppers being pulled in. I was kind of hoping for Tool, but I think they're in Europe. Um, Metallica played this festival like less than 6 months ago because they did like a winter one or I guess spring, whatever.
That's another band I haven't seen.
Oh man,
I can only imagine
yeah,
that live show.
it's so loud. It's really loud. I saw them at um MetLife and we just had like random like mezzanine seats in the back and it was still just blaring my ears off. It was great.
They ring for days.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely some long-term damage done from that show, but no regrets. Yeah, I don't know who they're gonna pull in for this festival, but should be interesting. But I was really excited to see Foo Fighters, and I'm going with my uncle. He's never seen them, so I was excited to see him see them because I love like bring someone new to see a band that I love. It's just like it's a great moment to share with people.
Good experience.
Yeah, because honestly, like I always listen to Foo Fighters, but when I went with you to see them, that just it took my fandom like and just bumped it up a bunch of notches because they were just infectious live. Like you left feel we were sitting way high up in the back and Grohl was in a chair and it still felt like he was just playing directly to us. It was just unreal stage presence. I don't know how. That's something special when a band can do that.
Yeah, their live show just puts all their studio albums to shame. Like
Yeah,
that's how good they are.
I was going through their live albums because there's a few on Spotify, and while I love their studio albums, but the live ones just have a whole
They hit
different level of
differently.
energy, especially with Hawkins on the drums. You can really hear him come through nice.
You had the solos too.
Yeah, Yeah, I think he had a few where they'd raise him up over the crowd. I saw some on YouTube. The only one I ever saw live do that, I think, was Travis Barker. They just like lift. I don't know how they lift these drum sets, but they do, and they just float him up there. And he was going crazy. I didn't even realize the band had left the stage till like halfway through his solo. Like, oh, it's just him up there, and they came back out eventually.
Like the Tommy Machine with Motley Crue, where like his would like flip upside down and stuff. Got like strap them in.
Oh yeah, these drummers are crazy.
They really are another breed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So you want to just transition a little into what we've been listening to other than the Foo Fighters? Because I'm sure we've both been
It's
listening to
been
them all weekend.
Yeah, I was planning on doing like a lot of Pup this week, and then like that just I've been nonstop listening to Foo Fighters ever since Friday.
You mean you were gonna listen to songs from a band before the album was released?
No, I was gonna refresh myself on Pup so that way I
Ah,
have a nice little
gonna listen.
appetizer before Friday.
That's the way to do it. Get so you haven't really heard any of their new singles because
No.
there's like four. Oh man,
Once they because
you're
they
in
put
for
the
a
single
treat.
out, I know. They put the single out and they announced the album. So I'm like, okay, I know there's an album coming, so I can wait. And I've been very dedicated to waiting. So I'm gonna be paid. Hopefully I'm paid off in full on Friday. But I feel
Oh
like they're
yeah.
not really a band that disappoints. So I'm
No,
excited for that one.
no, I can tell you that all the singles that are currently out, I really like. Um, they're just they're another good energy band, and they're just young, crazy Canadian kids who can bring it.
And
And
they
they're
bring it
very
with every album.
yeah, they do, and they're very excited for tour. They've been like going hard on social media. I think it starts in Pittsburgh this weekend, and then it doesn't get to us for uh March. I'm not even
Like
sure when that show is.
May
May.
9th, right?
Uh okay. Oh, March.
Maybe.
We just got through March. That's what I meant. May. We missed it. No.
So now we
Not
got Sum
again.
41 May 7th and then Pup May 9th. So
Ooh,
we're gonna like
wow.
just have no hearing on that Tuesday.
Oh, that's gonna be yeah, that's gonna be a damaging weekend. That's great. That's gonna be fun. Uh I've also been listening to this Kevin Devine album that I was talking about last week.
Still have to listen to that one too.
It's really good. It's called Nothing's Real, So Nothing's Wrong. And he it's it gives oh, there's like a spider on my lap. That's all right. Spiders, I don't mind them. Can eat the centipedes. Anyway, this album this
Centipedes
album's
are the
great.
worst.
Oh my god, I hate those things. They're so freaky looking. Uh, it's all right. Spider will protect me. Yeah, Kevin Devine's new album is awesome. He's just such a good songwriter. Like I get like I get Modest Mouse vibes. I get brand new vibes. RP. Another band I'd like to see come back. Um, yeah. Because I saw him. Yeah. Whatever,
We'll talk
Brett.
about
Their
them
music
someday.
is good. I don't want to get into it. I saw him open for them, so I associate them together. But yeah, it's the same kind of like low to high, um, like creative lyrics, and it's just a creative album. Like no two songs are alike on this album, so it's very fun to listen through too.
You just name like a ton of bands I like, along with like songwriting style I like. So this sounds like it's like right up my alley.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like kind of on like the slower side, so it's a nice like first half of the day listen. Like throw it on around like
Good
10
morning
o'clock.
album.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, it's pretty much him and Foo Fighters were most of my weekend.
I've been going like from Foo Fighter album to Foo Fighter album, pretty much. There's a lot of There Is Nothing Left to Lose. Did Wasting Light today. Did In Your Honor because people kept bringing that up to me over the weekend, and I forgot how good that one is.
In Your Honor. I don't
It's
even
with like
really.
Best of You.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I know that one. That might be the first Foo Fighters album I've ever saw.
That one's so good. You got the first half, it's like all rock, and the second half's all acoustic.
A-
It's like a double album.
A double album,
Yeah,
and you like it.
I do.
So
Yep.
the bar is pretty high.
Shows you how good.
A double album of all good songs is very impressive.
Especially in different formats too. Well, I guess that's what Sum 41's doing too. So
All right.
the evidence is there. It could work. So
time to see if they can bring it.
and then we got a new Red Hot Chili Peppers Friday too, in addition to Pup.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've only heard 2 singles. I don't know if they've put more out. But they sound like good old fashioned Chili Peppers, so I'm down with that. I don't need the Chili Peppers to be anything they're not. So just make funky, fun songs and I'll be happy.
Yeah, that one I haven't heard the singles there yet either, obviously. But I feel like I kind of fell off with the Red Hot Chili Peppers for a little bit. I think that's because like they were pretty much weren't a band or like weren't putting out new music for a long time. So I feel like I gotta go back into them.
Like in and out of guitarists for a little bit. And yeah, I think they're a band that everyone goes through a phase where they really like them and then it kind of mellows out a little bit.
That's a great way to describe it. That's pretty much what happened to me. So
yeah, but I've now come back around. I'm not too cool for any bands anymore.
No,
Like,
I feel the same way.
yeah, because there was a period where it's like, oh, Chili Peppers. They're like, oh, you like Sublime? I'm like, yeah, I like these bands. Like, who cares?
What's
Like,
wrong with
people
that?
like what they
Yeah.
like. They're good bands. They get a lot of play. I think that kind of hurts people's opinion on the Chili Peppers because I know like the radio stations around here and down the shore, like I feel like it's 2 to 3 Chili Pepper songs an hour sometimes. And that can be like, all right, how many times do I have to hear Snow this weekend? But it's a great song. So
They do
whatever.
play Snow a lot in the radio.
Snow, Under the Bridge.
Give it away.
Yeah. But these are all fantastic
They have a ton of
songs,
hits. So
yeah, let's see if they can do it again. I feel like they're due for a little resurgence.
it's been long enough, and now they got their probably the best guitarist they've had in the band back. I think that's fair to
Yeah.
say, right?
Yeah. For Shanti's like a
The
key
guy.
part. Yeah. I mean, they all have pretty unique sounds when you think about it. But yeah, I mean, what Chili Pepper fan doesn't want for Shanti in the band? I think even the guy who replaced him wanted him in the band because he was like his guitar tech for a while. So when he heard he was
Open the door
coming
back up
back,
for him.
he's probably like, yeah, please come back. That'll be awesome. I'm out. I had my fun. Thanks for having me. Please return.
I'm curious how that one sounds because I really don't know anything about this new album. So
You gotta I kind of like that you don't listen to singles. But you have to listen to the album like right away because you've been putting it off. So I'm gonna need your take on all these songs that you've been avoiding.
I think that's another knock on them. Like their album, people say their albums are too long.
Yeah,
This is kind of true. So I know I'm probably in for like a 2-hour listen, but I'm still gonna do it.
they were always a greatest hits band for me. I know like they have great albums. Like I know State of Arcadium, people love through and through. For them,
Blood,
for me,
Sugar Sex,
they were
Magic.
a shuffle band, to be honest.
So you could do that with them.
Yeah, because there was just so much. Like I never felt too much like cohesion, like song to song in their albums, which I could be totally wrong on because like I just said I didn't really listen to their albums front to back too much. But yeah, they had so many hits. Like you could just play any and they're all so different. Like they're also all over the place that you never know what you're gonna get with them. I hope they stick with that strategy on this album because it's fun.
Part of what makes them them.
Yeah, I'd love to see them. they're speaking of bands you've never seen.
Did your uncle hear your plea from our last podcast?
It's my friend's uncle.
Oh, your friend's
So,
uncle.
yeah,
Sorry.
if it was my uncle, forget it. I'd already be in the box.
You'd be going.
Waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's my friend's uncle. But a box fits a lot of people.
It does.
There's got
They're
to be
not tiny.
room for me. It's got to be room for me. We'll see. Yeah. Did you see Tell All Your Friends turned 20 this year?
Did see that, and
Crazy.
all these anniversaries keep making me feel older and older. I
It's
still
nuts.
remember like when I first heard that, and that's
yeah.
like that was 20 years ago. Like, holy shit!
I saw them on the 10-year anniversary tour.
Like right
which
after
feels like,
Sandy, right?
yeah, dude, that tour, Sandy happened, so like they had to cancel some, and then to make up for it, they played the show in Tom's River High School gymnasium, which was nuts. And I was just looking it up today because I wanted to look up videos from it. I remember Bayside opened, but the Messingers also opened, and I didn't even know who they were. I don't even really
Oh
remember
my
seeing them. I don't
god!
know if I wasn't there, or I the it says they opened the like article I was reading, but I do not remember the Messingers there. So either I was late or something happened and they weren't there. But either way, I'm kicking myself because I didn't start listening to the Messengers until a few years ago. And if
that's
yeah,
that's right off when they put on the Impossible Past out too, because that turned 10 in February.
I wish I knew then what I know now.
Maybe they'll tour again together in the fall. Get 20 year for Tell Your Friends and 10 year for On the Impossible Past.
God, take my money.
Right?
Yeah. That would be crazy.
It's
If they're
possible.
friends,
They're
yeah,
friends. Yeah.
you gotta do it. They're same like general area because Messengers are they Philly or just South Jersey? I think they're
Scranton, the
somewhere.
home of The Office.
Scranton. Very cool. Yeah, it's all same neighborhood.
It's all Dunder Mifflin and the Menzingers.
They should just do Office covers a
They
whole
really should.
just only play the Office theme song for a whole show. That would get old really fast.
For fans, with that fans might turn them at that point.
They just do the piano part, but then they never go into the actual song.
Over and over.
Oh, sign me up. They could get Kevin's police cover band to open for them. What's his face? Brian Baumgartner, who plays Kevin on The Office.
Oh, that's right.
The police cover band.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast about The Office, and they were saying they picked the police because the police, their drummer sings, and their songs are all in like really weird time signatures. So they're like the hardest band out there to drum and sing along to. So they just had Kevin be like this like savant who can sing and drum to the police. So that's what we'll get. Kevin's police cover band, Messinger's tour. Book it.
There we go.
Yeah.
I do like the police though too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good rhythm section.
They're another one, radio kind of, because they're like what, Message in a Bottle or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Roxanne.
Every breath you take.
Yeah, no, they're good. That bottle song though drives me kind of nuts.
It is played a lot on the radio.
It's so much, and I know I'm supposed to like it, but I just don't really like it. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, police. Don't arrest me.
So you're not getting their Message in a Bottle then?
No, I'm not. And I'll go to the bathroom when they play it during the Messengers tour that we just created. Should we throw it to Bobby to talk some new MGK, which feels like a lifetime ago after this weekend? But
It really
that
does
also,
feel like 3 weeks ago.
that also came out this week, and we have many thoughts. Any thoughts?
Bobby had some really great thoughts too, so we're very glad to have him on.
Yeah, it was a cool interview. So yeah, let's switch it to that, and then we'll jump back in after. Okay, we now welcome on to discuss the new Machine Gun Kelly album, Mainstream Sellout, Bobby Olivier. He is a music writer and food arts editor for NJ.com and the Star Ledger, as well as contributing writer to Billboard and Spin. Bobby, the simulation just went bad, but you're the best we ever had. Are you ready to talk some MGK?
Yeah, I'm ready to fall in love with an emo girl and leave the scene because I ruined it and all the other shit that he says. Um, yeah, well, thanks for having me, guys. Cool to be here on a Friday, drinking some beer, talking some pop punk.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Very happy to have you finally.
yeah.
Yeah, so I noticed a lot of this album. He was kind of calling himself a sellout and mainstream. And just because you call yourself that facetiously doesn't make it not true. I don't
For sure.
know. What did you guys think? I'll send it over your way.
Yeah, I can go first. Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of the sort of novelty of the first album was the fact that he was sort of this outsider from hip hop world coming in and trying to do pop punk stuff. And it was like, oh, look at this, rapper from Cleveland who was already like an outsider in his own genre trying to do pop punk and play a pink guitar. That's cool. And these songs are fun and Travis Barker's fun and whatever, that's fine. And now, flash forward 2 years and he is significantly more famous, engaged to Megan Fox. He's created a million memes around the two of them, and is playing crowds, 3-4 times the size that he was before. Just announced a big summer arena amphitheater tour. So, yeah, I think that mainstream sellout hits a little bit harder now, and the title track being mainstream sellout, and he the chorus saying something like him mocking the people saying get out of our scene, you ruined it, where it's like people are like no seriously dude, like please
Yeah. He's
please
trying to 8 Mile us is what he's
yeah
doing.
yeah
Good way to put it.
Brett, how did you feel on the first listen?
So I just want to say at the top, I think Travis Barker did another good job here. So no complaints about him. Like the drums on the opening track are just awesome, and it just reminds you of like a Blink song. But overall, it was like kind of like what you tweeted out before, Bobby. It was like kind of more of the same. Only now it's maybe like a little more stale because it's like not as fresh. Or I remember like when Tickets to My Downfall first came out, it was like such like a breath of fresh air, and it was like kind of stirred up that intoxicating drug, which is nostalgia.
yeah
And this one was kind of just more of that, but maybe not as good. But it was, you made a great point with the features too. Like those are kind of the best parts of the record, and it's a Machine Gun Kelly record. But like Willow and like Bring Me the Horizon, like kind of stole the show away from him.
Yeah, I would agree, and I think that yeah, and listening to because I listened to that emo girl song when it first came out, and I listened to like once, and I was like, okay, probably avoiding this now, and even though it is kind of catchy, but listening back, the Willow verse actually is pretty good, and that the new song "Make Up Sex with Black Bear" is pretty good, and then Ollie Sykes, I think, but it's funny you can once you get Machine Gun Kelly right next to Ollie Sykes of Bring Me the Horizon on the same song, and Ollie Sykes is like has a great range, singing, screaming, and Machine Gun Kelly has like very little vocal range. Like everything sort of sits in the same
Being
pocket.
kind.
Yeah. So to get them next to each other, you kind of really see Machine Gun Kelly's shortcomings, I think, on that song.
Yeah. I think my favorite parts of this album were everything except Machine Gun Kelly, which
Yeah.
it I know it's like almost a cliche for like people our age and in the scene to like hate on him, but like it just really wasn't doing it for me. And I thought Tickets to My Downfall was a good album. It was fun, it was enjoyable, but this one's just lacking like emotion. I don't know like exactly what it is, but I'm just not like I wasn't really feeling it from him on all the songs more or less.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think that Brian Raleigh, who I think who is my Twitter pal, who I don't actually know, but he writes for I think Ultimate Classic Rock or Ultimate Guitarist, Ultimate something, and he's always makes a lot of good points, and he called Machine Gun Kelly emotionally one of the most artistically bankrupt artists in the game right now, which I think is sort of true. I mean, and again, I like MGK for the most part. I think what like his style is pretty cool. And again, I like that last album too. But I wouldn't say that he's out of ideas. I just think he's out of like original ideas. And I think that he's really sort of just let Travis Barker sort of do the heavy lifting on this. And Brett, I agree that the drums I think sound great. I think the production's great. I think there's some songs that'll play well when it comes to Camden, New Jersey, which I'm sure he'll call Philadelphia later this year. But yeah, I just think that I think he's just sort of taken this sort of pop punk thing as far as he can go. And I think the next album, which if he goes back to hip hop, then it'll be anticipated as his return to hip hop, and we'll see what happens from there. But I mean, I covered it. I'm rambling, I know, but I covered his show at Central Park in the summer, and the hip hop stuff still really hits hard. I mean, he's a good live rapper. I don't care what anybody says. So yeah, I'm looking forward to him leaving pop punk now.
Yeah, I thought on this album, like he did a little bit of everything, but he didn't like excel at any one thing. Like the rapping, I kind of liked and would have liked more, or I would have liked him to go in harder on the pop punk side, and it all just kind of stayed like at a safe like middle ground for most of the album.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree.
think with like some of the features too, like if he did want this album like lean more into the pop punk, I would have kind of liked to see some more pop punk artists on it with him. I feel like that was kind of a missed opportunity, especially with the whole Travis Barker connection. Like Bring Me the Horizon isn't really pop punk, but like on the last album, like the Forget Me Too with Halsey, like that song was unbelievable, and like that left people wanting like a Halsey pop punk album. But like this album, I feel like really didn't have that other than like Willow, who's like kind of the closest thing to pop punk. But I know
Yeah.
people like to make arguments about her as well, but that's
I,
another thing I felt that was lacking.
I was hoping to see Youngblood on this album because I really like what he's doing, and they're like friends or they've done collaborations together. And even a song on this album is like the same name as a Youngblood song. And I don't know. I guess he just didn't make the cut.
Yeah, and I mean, for all of Travis Barker's connections, I mean, they couldn't get one pop punk dude. Like they couldn't get someone from like Goldfinger or anybody else that he's worked with. I mean, he's worked with pretty much everybody.
Hoppus.
Or even like the Jaden, who was Travis's first signee to his record label last year, who toured with MGK last year and has like a great voice like that, and is doing the Travis Barker sort of pop punk blueprint stuff. That would have been a smart collaboration, and MGK was on Jaden's album, so it would have been sort of returning the favor. Um, but yeah, I mean, and like I don't hate this new album. Like, I was listening to it a little bit before, just in preparation to talk to you guys, and like, is it aggressively bad? No. Is it? But I just think it's a sort of inferior sequel to the 2020 effort, and also in 2020, I think we were all like so deprived of anything fun with COVID happening that I think that album hit a little bit harder.
Yeah, definitely had a little bump from that. I noticed like some of my favorite parts of this album were when I would feel like I was listening to a Blink song, which happened on like WW4 and what else? 5150. Sid and Nancy had like kind of a cool guitar riff and stuff, but it just never like Travis and the Blink feels would grab me, and then it would just kind of veer off back to MGK.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when he, as a rapper, like, there's the rhythm and flow, and there's so much more that you can like sort of not hide behind, but I think that he has more of an aptitude for. And then with this, I mean, he's not a great singer. I mean, I like the general tone of his voice, but I mean, he doesn't have much range at all, and he's not a brilliant lyricist when it comes to writing like pop punk songs, like where there's a lot fewer words to fit in. And yeah, I don't know. I don't want to, hate on him too much. But yeah, I mean, this is an album that people will forget about quickly, I think.
Yeah. So to veer from the hate, what were some of our favorite parts of the album? Brett, what'd you like about it?
So I think I said at the top, but Born with Horns. I think I hit like repeat on that a couple times. Like I was like, oh wow, this album might be like just as good as Tickets to My Downfall, but then it just kind of went away after that. But I like that. I like Maybe. I like Emo Girl when it came out, but like again, Willow was the best part of that. Um, I did think the Black Bear song was like very similar to My Ex's Best Friend from Tickets to My Downfall. Like it felt like a sequel to that song, and it wasn't really anything that was like too different, but it was still good. But it was like again, it was like a sequel. And I did think the Pete Davidson cameo is pretty funny. So
Oh, I didn't realize that that was him. That was the sketch
Wall of
like
Fame.
halfway
Yeah.
through. I didn't know that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, Pete Davidson makes his way into yet another pop culture moment. Yeah, I mean, I sort of feel the same as Brett. Born with Horns is fine. Maybe it is good, mostly because of the Ollie Sykes stuff. Makeup Sexy, I completely agree that it sounds like a sequel to the song from the first album. And I think Dying California is pretty good because it feels a little more sort of authentic because it has sort of the hip hop grounding to it and has Gunna and Young Thug on it, which both of whom I think are pretty good on it.
And then what about you, Nick?
Yeah, I liked like the Blink vibes I got from it. Like the 5150 was cool. WW4 was cool. Sid and Nancy might have been my favorite. Just had like a nice little guitar riff going on. Um, yeah, I don't know. At first I liked the self-awareness of him naming it Sellout because like he clearly gets a ton of opinions from people. But then the more I listened to the album, the more I kind of changed my mind on that because uh I don't know. I just kind of felt frustrated listening to this album, but I'm trying to say something nice right now, so I'll leave it
Yeah.
at that.
He kind of kicked off this whole like new like where people trying out pop punk more, right? Because didn't this come out before like Olivia Rodrigo?
Yeah. I mean, this was out like almost a whole year before Olivia Rodrigo's album. Yeah, I mean, he's gonna go down as like one of the flag bearers of this like sort of weird pop punk resurgence, which is, I mean, the majority of it is orchestrated by Travis, and part and parcel of that is everything sort of sounding like Blink 182. But I mean, his legacy is sort of, or at least this sort of chapter of his legacy, I think, is stamped. And I think it's time. I think it's time to move on.
Time to move on. Yeah, I appreciate what he's done. Like for better for worse, there's pop punk on the radio again. There's guitars. There's these upbeat songs, which I'm glad. Like if there's a whole generation of kids that love this and go see him and rock out and sing along, like that's a good thing. I don't have to like it. So I he's definitely doing good for like the scene in this new resurgence, like you said.
Yeah, for sure. And when I was at that Central Park show in New York last year, like it was really weird to see like sort of like the popular high school kids, like the conventionally attractive like kids that would be at the cool lunch table, like all at like a pop punk show, which I had probably never seen in my adult life. So yeah, that was cool. And I felt bad for him at that show because it like they had all sorts of sound problems, like they couldn't get the sound right. He was like over at the soundboard trying to fix it himself, and then they had to cut the show short because of a bad thunderstorm, and he was like, he didn't even get to do my ex's best friend because like he had to try to do like a cappella, like singing it with no microphone because they
Uh,
literally they cut the sound on him.
I appreciate that he tried to do it anyway. Was that
Yeah.
the only time you've seen him, or have you seen him other times?
That I think that was the only time. I don't think I ever covered him when he was doing hip hop stuff. I'm pretty sure he's played like Starland Ballroom and stuff before. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'll be there. I'll most likely be there for him in Camden in
Yeah, I'm
June.
curious how his live show is. I mean, I'm sure he's an entertainer. Like I don't know if you get this far without having some sort of stage presence.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely like a magnetic or a magnetic enough performer. And yeah, I mean, he has like a good core fan base. I mean, he'll be fine. And some of these songs will play good. in on the big stage. And yeah, I'm curious to see him playing at Camden. I mean, that holds 25,000 people, that venue. And I mean, it seemed like about as much of a crowd as he could handle when it was in Central Park with like whatever 3 or 4 thousand people. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's
See
on
if
a
it's a
ton of
sellout.
festivals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, Brett. Yeah, he's on so many festivals this year too. So it's time to put his money where his mouth is and put on the
Yeah.
shows.
Yep.
I think he'll be okay. I'm sure there will be singles from this that'll get plenty of play.
Mm-hmm.
But Bobby, what do you think of the whole like Travis Barker, like him and his whole what I call his familia?
Yeah. The Travis Barker cinematic universe.
Yep, the TCU
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
TBCU.
Yeah, TBCU. Sounds like a yogurt shop. I think I mean a lot of it's been pretty good. I mean the album he just did with Avril Lavigne, I think for the most part was good. That was something that I had like really no expectations for going in, and like there's probably a half dozen songs on there that I've listened to as much as I've listened to anything this year so far. It's like see that's the difference between like having Travis Barker with someone who like Avril Lavigne who has great voice, like a lot of personality to her voice, is a creative, interesting songwriter, and has like the chops and the lyricism to back it up versus Machine Gun Kelly trying to write pop punk songs. Yeah, I think that album's pretty good. I mean, I think the work that he did with that kid Jaden, who was like a TikTok star, who was like, I'm just gonna do pop punk music, and it's actually pretty good. There's a bunch of songs on that are fun. The stuff he did with Kenny Hoopla's fun.
Yeah, that's
That's
probably
my
my
favorite.
favorite. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think Kenny Hoopla is actually playing I think in Asbury Park pretty soon. What else is he? I mean, the stuff with Youngblood is good. Uh, the stuff with Willow's fine. Yeah, I mean, it all sort of hits the same notes, right? I mean, it's all like coming from sort of the same place, the same sort of iconography, just with like slightly different flares based on the artist. But I mean, I think, but beyond the drumming, like which is always like top notch, I think that he does a pretty good job of letting the artists kind of be who they want to be and not overshadow them too much. Though I think that he also ends up with a lot of young artists who sort of don't know who they want to be, or they just think that, if Travis Barker says it's good, then let's do the Blink-182 stuff.
Yeah. Who was I think JXDN has a song that's
Jaden.
it's just feeling
That's
this.
Jaden.
Oh, that's Jaden. Okay.
Yeah.
They literally like remade Feeling This, and it's a great song. And the
Yeah.
lyrics, like, it cracks me up because they must have known what they were doing. Like it's note for note on the chorus, but it's a
Yeah,
good song.
I mean, it's like it literally is like an interpolation of that song. And yeah, and they definitely knew what they were doing,
Oh,
and we are here a year later talking about it. So, good for them.
I just got the JXDN is just
Yeah.
like a different spelling of
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. You clearly can't. You can't read. You can't read Gen Z.
Damn it, I'm old. It's happened.
Yeah. Yep.
you hit that mark finally.
That's all right. I can be old. I can do it. Yeah, it's interesting, this whole thing with MGK and the whole resurgence. I'm loving following it through the ups and downs, and Travis is Travis. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it all, but he's clearly having fun, and I think that's important.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's definitely having fun, and I'm sure he's making a ton of money.
That's for
not,
sure.
Not, not that,
That's
not
fun.
that he,
Yeah.
yeah, not that he needs any money ever again. I'm sure whatever the residuals he gets for the Blink stuff, plus dating Kourtney Kardashian, who I think just signed like $100 million deal to do her new reality show. So
He's living very well.
yeah, I think he's doing fine. And also, you know what I hadn't realized that, like, because he always wears like the beanie now, like the whole top of his head, like his whole head is tattooed. He has gotten many more tattoos since like the last time I saw him without a hat on. So yeah, he's got I can't imagine how much money he's spent on tattoos on his body. It's probably like $100,000 just on tattoos.
Someone needs to do a breakdown, like an article or an interview, and
Yeah,
just go through some of them because
yeah,
I'm sure people
not
would
me.
love that.
Be a long interview.
Yeah, yeah. That's an interview for like was it Inked magazine or whatever like when on that show Ink Master when you
Yeah.
win when you get a feature in Inked magazine, that's like the big prize. So yeah, they should I'm sure that they've interviewed him before, but I think they have to talk to him about his head tattoos.
Yeah.
We're gonna do like a
that's
whole
good.
season of Ink Master on him alone.
Yeah.
I'd watch
Sure.
I'd watch some of it and then probably forget, but I'd probably watch the beginning.
Yeah.
So Bobby, you think Tom's coming back to Blink while we're on the topic of Travis and friends?
I don't know. I don't know. I think that it's inevitable that they will eventually play a show or a string of shows together again. Like, do I ever think that they're going to reform? I mean, probably not. I mean, Mark Hoppus is almost. I think if he's not 50, he's almost 50. And like I've seen, it's funny. I've seen Blink way more times now with Matt Skiba than Tom DeLonge. Tom DeLonge, and Matt Skiba has been. I mean, it's fine. Like it's still a Blink show. I mean, it's never going to be totally the same, but I mean, it's still worth going to see. Um, I don't know, man. What's the next anniversary? Well, hopefully they get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in the next couple of years because now they're officially eligible, and for that they'll probably have to play with each other, and maybe that'll spur them to do like a 25th anniversary tour or something like that.
I
But no
love
new
it.
album, you don't think? Probably not.
I would be surprised. Tom just put out the new Angels and Airwaves, I think last year or the beginning of
Yeah,
this year or the end of last year.
last year. It was a good album
And
too. I really liked it.
yeah, it is a good album, and he's done a lot of interesting stuff with that band. And I think that he's happy doing that and trying to find aliens, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it seems like they're on good terms, all the guys, but I don't, and I think Blink, and it's such a big operation. Like Blink, I mean, they're playing to whenever they play, they're playing to at least 15,000 people. If they're at a festival, they're headlining the festival. Like there's sort of a lot of like high stakes for changing the lineup again, and I think they're sort of locked in with Matt for now. But I don't know. What do I know? That they could announce tomorrow that Tom's coming back. But I would be surprised if he came back um in like any sort of permanent way at this point.
What about
Uh,
for Bamboozle next year?
For Bamboozle, dude, if Bamboozle 2023 on the Asbury Park beach reunites Blink-182, that would be insane.
New
Yeah,
Jersey will
that would.
just fall off the United States and just float
Yeah,
off into
yeah,
the sea.
yeah, for sure. Talk about a ticket that will sell out immediately. Yeah, I am curious who they're gonna get to play that thing next year, considering they announced it so early. Um,
Yeah, then when we
and
were young, set the bar.
yeah. I mean,
It's a
well,
test tube.
yeah, for sure. Um, but I mean, Bamboozle used to get all sort like they would get like hip hop artists too, and like some pop artists. Like it's sort of like a no holds barred kind of festival. So
Bon Jovi.
I don't know what's that.
I think they had Bon Jovi last time they had it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Foo
exactly.
Fighters.
Like yeah. So I don't know, man. Pretty much nothing would surprise me.
Yeah. Expectations are high.
Yeah.
I hope they deliver because there's years of nostalgia and awesome festivals behind it. So
Hmm.
I mean, Gaslight Anthem's available now.
let's go.
That's true. Yeah, I think that there's a good chance that they'll play it. Probably not. I don't think that for the amount of expectation, and now with like See Here Now, like really raising the bar for like festivals on the beach there, like I don't think Gaslight's big enough to do it. I don't know. I don't think that they could headline it. I think it's too many people. Like
Uh,
I don't think that they're at the point where they're playing to, or they've ever been to the point where they're playing to 30,000 people where everyone is showing up to see them. There's just not enough.
No.
There's not enough like shore dads with newsboy caps out there.
Yeah, especially coming
like-
off the breakup too. They don't have like the momentum behind them either.
Yeah, yeah. The new album would have to be like insanely good and get like some sort of transcendent level of press that they've never gotten before, which is basically impossible for them at this point. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited that they're back together. Yeah, that was something that I didn't think was gonna happen anytime soon, just because Brian was really going along with the solo stuff pretty well. And I mean, he just played 2 sold out nights at Count Basie and Red Bank. I mean, which is nothing to sneeze at. And yeah, I mean, I think that he was doing fine. He was doing fine without them, but I'm excited to see what they come back with.
I'm really curious to hear what it sounds like too, because Get Hurt was such like a dark album.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe they'll do pop punk.
Get Travis Barker to produce.
Yeah. That would be something.
Just have a feature on every track.
Yeah. Yeah, Gaslight Anthem featuring 24 Golden and Ian Dior.
Well, this has been awesome. Bobby, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about this stuff. Yeah, we wish you the best with all your shows coming up that you're covering. And
Yep.
We'd love to have you back on. So yeah, anytime.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you for having me. Enjoy whatever MGK does next, and I will see you on the beach.
Sounds good. I'll see
You're
you
the man,
sooner now
Bobby.
for sure.
All right. Bye.
All right, later.
Later.
Okay, we're back. Or did we ever leave? I don't know. Thanks to Bobby again for coming on, talking MGK. That was fun. Brett, I have something I have to talk to you about, and it's very serious.
I know you teased it before.
I am thinking about going to see the Messengers this weekend by myself. Am I crazy? Do I need more friends? Do I need more friends who are willing to come with me to the Messengers? Cough, Brett. Or should I just go alone? Because I really want to see them and I have nothing to do. So why shouldn't I?
So I don't think there's anything wrong with going to concerts alone. Like if you asked me this question like 10 years ago, I might have said you're crazy. But like in my time since then, like I've warmed up to the idea of like going to the movies by yourself is okay. You can go to concerts by yourself, because like you really only need like someone there to talk to for until the set starts. And like realistically, when you think about it, you're not really talking when the show is going on. You're just standing there enjoying the show. So I don't think there's anything wrong with going by yourself.
It's a good
And
point.
I would like to go to the Menzingers, but I'm still holding out hope for that 10-year tour in the fall. So I've decided to wait for that one, even though that might make me a bad
Yeah,
Menzingers fan. I did just see them in
No,
December, though.
Yeah,
so
I know. You saw them at
Crossroads.
Yeah. Yeah. See,
We'll get you to one of those shows in December.
yeah, I need to just go to that venue. I mean, I'd like to see a band I like there, but I really want to just go to that venue. Yeah, I only saw Messengers at Warp Tour, and it was like a short set. You know how those festival sets kind of go. And yeah, I just really want to see them. Nicole's going to be away this weekend. I really have nothing going on. Drive down the Starland Friday night or Saturday rather. I'm thinking about it because I don't know. How late's the show? Like I'd probably be home by
It's
like
like 11, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Just cruise down the Parkway. I don't know. I'm really considering it. I want to see how my day goes because it's not sold out or anything, so I can game time decision it.
I'm surprised that one didn't sell out. You
Yeah,
would think New Jersey they would, but I guess this is like the biggest venue they've played as a headliner.
yeah. If they're usually playing Crossroads, this is definitely
Yeah,
really
or
bigger.
the Pony.
I think going to shows alone isn't bad. But I kind of feel like it depends on the venue. Like if you're going to PNC alone, that might be a little weird
Yeah,
because you're
because
just
half of that's about the tailgate.
yeah, exactly. You're tailgating, you're hanging in the lawn or wherever. Like it's an event almost. But like a club venue, like just drive down the road, see one of your favorite bands for a couple hours, and then go home. Like it doesn't have to be like a whole thing. Like you
Post
said,
up at the
you're not-
bar.
Yeah, exactly. find a good spot. You don't have to worry about who you're with, where they want to go or what they're thinking. Yeah. I can go up close and then I could change my mind and go far back.
You're in full control.
I'm in full control. I can just leave early if I want. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's something I haven't done personally yet, but not something I'm opposed to.
Yeah, I did it like maybe once or twice when I was covering music for the Waster and stuff. Like occasionally you get sent to a show and I would do that. But I feel like that's a little different because you're kind of working. It's not always a, like I talked about that Foxing show last episode, I think it was. I went to that alone, but that was like an assignment. So it's a little different. This
A
would
little
just be
different.
me just
For
choosing to
fun.
go alone. But yeah, I might do it. I'm gonna game time it, but
There's
I-
nothing like a Menzingers headlining show with the diehards there. It's a whole different experience.
yeah. And they have this new album out that I've listened to a couple times, but not enough to really know it past like the single is it America You're Freaking Me Out?
Yep. Hello
Yeah.
Exile, the album.
Yeah. It's a good album, but I don't like The Impossible Past and After the Party. Like those are two
They're
albums
on
that
another
are
level.
they're ingrained in my brain. Like I could play through those whole albums just in my head alone. So I'd be going for those and then whatever else they play. There is that other middle album that I just neglect for some reason with I Don't Want to Be an Asshole.
Rented World. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I would probably like that one just as much as
It's
the other.
very, very good.
My problem is I like the others so much that I just want to listen to them. But if I knew I was going to the show, I could have done some prep work. But I still don't even know if I'm going.
It's not too
so,
late.
Yeah.
Got a couple days still.
I could learn a whole album in 2
Right?
days.
I think they pretty much only play like 3 songs off Rented World. It's like I Don't Want to Be an Asshole Anymore, In Remission, and
Let me write
Rodent, I want to say.
Let me write these down. All right. So I don't want to spoil the set list, but I would like to know what they play from that album. Then I can
Or
cheat a little
Where Your
bit.
Heart, what's it called? Where Your Heartache Exists, I want to say.
I don't know. All right. All right. I'll look
Any
up,
of those
I'll look
4.
up those. We have it on tape, so I can write these down and then
There you go.
I'll get those locked down. You want to do a voicemail?
Let's
We
do a
got another
voicemail.
All right. We had our friend Jake call in.
The aforementioned
and-
Jake.
Yes. All right. Let's hear it.
Hey, Nick and Brett. It's Jake here. Huge fan of the new podcast. My question for you guys today is, what are your top 5 favorite Taylor Hawkins drum tracks? It could be anywhere from the Foo Fighters, Alanis Morissette, or any of his side projects, such as Taylor Hawkins and the Coattail Riders or NHC. Really look forward to hearing your answers.
Thank you, Jake. Very
Great
cool.
question.
Yeah, that is a great question. And it got me on the live album kick that we were talking about earlier. You want to go first, Brett? You should go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go first.
All right.
Let's see.
So are we starting with our number 5 and then drafting from there?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. My number 5 is Rope
Oh,
off Wasting Light. There's just something like, I know it's like drummer's favorite Taylor Hawkins song, I feel like, because he tries to like mirror Rush, like the Rush drum style there. And
Yeah.
like there's so many different parts in that song where it's like it's a steady beat, and then like towards the end of the song where it just kind of has like that Foo Fighters build, and he really gets to show off his skills. So it could be a number 1, but it's my number 5. So
all right.
I'll throw it to you for your number 5.
All right. I like it. It's a very rushy one for sure. I'm gonna go Breakout off Nothing to Lose. Just
Can't
Let's
go
go.
wrong there.
it goes hard. And that's all you need. That's all. Yeah. That's all you need. It goes hard.
It
Boom.
sums it up the best, I think.
That is the official analysis on Breakout. All right. What else you got?
All right, number 4, I got Best of You.
Ooh.
Probably their biggest hit, arguably, and he just as he goes hard on it, and
See?
but
Goes
it's like
hard.
steady throughout, and then in the end, it's like there's something about like his builds, like it's like a very I know I just said it on the last one, but it is like a steady beat throughout most of the songs, and like he just unloads in the end, and it's just unreal. And I was like noticing today when I was trying to pick out like 5 different songs, and like they're a lot of them are modeled that way. But there's just something about Best of You, which is just one of their best songs. Live, it's on their level, and that his drumming, of course, goes to the level on that song live as well. But again, number 4, but still
Number
a
4.
great choice, I think, by me.
Yes, great choice. Okay. I'm gonna stick with my going hard theme. I'm gonna go to Color and Shape, and I'm gonna go with Monkey Wrench. And I know he didn't write these drum parts on this album because we were talking about it earlier, but when they're live, it's a whole different animal. And that's a song that it's just nonstop through that whole song. It's got the crazy breakdown, and yeah, I just like loud smashing drums, and that's a great one for it. So
Don't
take
they
a
have
Monkey
like an
Wrench.
interlude when they play it live? Like they'll just like start like jamming for a little bit
Oh,
before
that's
like
right.
going into like the breakdown.
Yes, yeah, I remember they played that early for us. We had a crazy set list. I was looking it up earlier. Um, I don't want to spoil other picks, but we'll get to it. Okay, I'll let you take the next one.
All right, number 3, I got The Pretender.
Ooh,
So this one's kind of the opposite of what I've said so far. So this one, it's all about that drum in the beginning, where it's all you just have Dave singing and the guitar, and then you have the dun 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 dun, and the song kicks in. I've just always been a sucker for that, and like whenever you see them live, like you see everyone put their hands up and start air drumming along with them to that. It's just probably one of my favorite parts of seeing them live, and also one of my favorite songs by them, and another great Taylor performance too.
yes, definitely. Ooh, see, now we're getting close. So now I want to take things that I think you're gonna take.
I think my top 2 are safe.
Ooh, okay. Well, then I'm just gonna swoop on in and take Everlong, which
That wasn't one of them. So
could arguably be one of the best. But just the fast drumming in that
on the
when
cymbal, yep.
yeah, it's just, I mean, it's a staple Foo Fighters song, and the drums in it are absolutely insane, and I love that whole album. Yeah, it's a great opener, it's a great closer. They could do anything they want with Everlong, and it sets the tone fantastically.
That one live too, like he plays like half of it acoustic, and then like
Yeah.
Taylor kicks in, and the rest of the band joins in,
Yeah,
and it's just
it's
I
like a
can't even
big
like put
tease.
into words. It's just
Yeah, yeah. When we saw them, they went Everlong, Monkey Wrench, Learn to Fly, 1, 2, 3.
well, they opened with Everlong, right?
Yeah, and then went into Something from Nothing, The Pretender. Like, it was wild set list. I
It was
was
the Sonic Highways tour.
Yeah. Wow, they played 25 songs at that show. That's
Yeah, they
insane.
played for almost 3 hours.
That's sick.
That's why they're the best.
That yeah. Where are we at now?
All right,
Top
number
2?
2. So I might not have picked this had it not been recommended. I listened to In Your Honor this weekend, but I'm going with In Your Honor as my number 2
Ooh.
because I think it's might be their best album opener. And it's just like you have the guitars, and then you have these just crazy drums at the end where he's just letting it loose, holding nothing back. And it's the first track on the album. So you're like, wow, what's going to follow this? And like, you have this run of like 6 songs of like no skips and In Your Honor. So In Your Honor, my number 2.
Very nice. I'm running out of picks. I wanted to take this one for number 1, but I might have to just go to it right now. Stacked Actors, specifically live. Yeah.
That one has a whole new life live because like
Oh
the
my
studio
God.
version is okay, but live is just
Yeah, like, so 3 minutes in, there's like this breakdown, and it's just this build up for like a minute. Then it gets really crazy. Then Dave starts soloing, and then he starts like almost matching the guitar solo with drum fills, and it's just like it's nonstop for a good like 4 or 5 minutes of just everyone passing it back and forth, and the drums never let up. Like the stamina on that, I don't know how these drummers do it, but yeah, yeah.
And that's
So
track one of Taylor's first studio album with Foo.
oh wow, I was not aware of that. That makes it even better. I like
That's
it.
a great pick.
Thank you.
All right, we're up to number one now, right?
Number one.
So this one, I think it's my Bruce Almighty reply all answer when it comes to Foo Fighters. But number one is Aurora.
Ooh,
Off There's Nothing Left to Lose. It's my favorite Foo Fighters song. Has been for a long time. There's just something special about that song. It just like when you listen to it with your headphones on, like it just takes you to another place. And the last minute of that with the drums and like the sound effects, there's just nothing like it. It's far and away my favorite Foo Fighters song. I will gladly argue it's their best song. And it has to be number one because, again, that was Taylor's first album with the band. It really set the tone for what was to come for all those years after. And to this day, I think it still holds up as their top track.
that's a great pick. That's a great pick. I might just tap out because I had Rope and I had Aurora. I had Generator on here, but I haven't listened to it enough to even give it a fair assessment. I'd be cheating if I threw it in there. I'm just gonna take Stacked Actors, and it's gonna be my number one and
There you
two.
go. White Limo, maybe.
Ooh, thank you. Throw 'em.
We'll make that your number five.
Yeah, and then everything can just shift
Yeah.
up one. Yeah. He's a beast.
He is a
He's
beast.
just a beast. He's gonna be very missed.
There's no replacing that. So very interesting to see what happens. And they're supposed to be at the Grammys this Sunday. They're supposed to play the Grammys, but I don't think they're gonna play anymore. But I'm curious to see if there's some kind of tribute or if the band shows up.
Ooh. Yeah, I would think they would do something, especially if they were supposed to play. Ah, it sucks. It just
Yeah.
sucks, man. God damn. Thanks for the question, Jake, by the way. as we're sitting here
Not to end
crying.
on a downer. We're celebrating the life today.
Yes.
As you said at the top.
Yeah, exactly. I picked out some Instagram posts that I saw of just different people talking about him. I saw some 41 post something right away. They didn't say much. They just put a picture of him up. But it's just nice to see other bands you like talking about these things. Shine Down had a post just talking about the impact one human could have on an entire community. And they said, just look at your timeline today. It's filled with Taylor Hawkins, how nice he was and how talented he was. Weezer put up something, just talking about times they toured together. Tom DeLonge put up something because I know Foo Fighters and Blink had a tour. I guess it was probably 90s, right? It was
I think so,
2000s early.
right?
Yeah, it was definitely. I was too young to be seeing Blink and Foo Fighters on tour, but that would be a good time.
I can only imagine what that was like.
Yeah, just like crazy kids putting on crazy shows. And then the last one I had was Travis Barker, who he talked about Taylor Hawkins would watch him play in like these dive bars when he was just in and out of different punk bands, and he would always tell him like, "You're a star, you're going places." And Travis said, "I thought you were crazy, but you gave me so much hope and determination." And it's beautiful to see these drummers sticking together and what they did for each other. And yeah, I know the community is everyone just is gonna miss him a ton. And I wish the best for Foo Fighters, whatever they decide.
The best
I-
of Foo.
the best. yeah, so next week we got new pup, like we mentioned earlier. We got new chili peppers. We have an interview for next week. I think we do.
I think so. Depends which way you want to go, I think.
Yeah. We'll have an interview one way or another. As always, send in your voicemails to genadmissionpod@gmail.com. And check the Instagram bio for links to things, because we're updating this playlist every week, and it usually winds up being a pretty good playlist because we talk about bands we like. So obviously we like it, but throw it a heart and listen to some of the songs we've been talking about. I'll update it every episode. All right, as always, we love you guys. Thank you for listening.
Love you, Nick. Love you, Foo Fighters. Love you, Taylor Hawkins.
Ditto. Peace.